We are from the United Nations headquarters bringing some information about the 55th Commission on Status of Women, this huge international conference on the status of women that every year occurs here at the United Nations in New York. And people from all over the world, delegations, NGO representatives from more than 90 countries are gathered here from February 22nd until March the 4th to discuss about the gender equality and the empowerment of women. The Legion of Goodwill, a Brazilian NGO in consultative status with the ECOSOC, is also participating as usual and bringing its recommendations for the participants of this conference. And these recommendations were compiled in this publication here, translated into 4 different languages. I'm going to ask Mariana to help me out here to show you the covers of these magazines. The first one is Goodwill Women in English. Also we have Buena Voluntad Mujer in Spanish, and Bonne Volonté Femme in French, and also, obviously, also in Portuguese, Boa Vontade Mulher. And this magazine brings very important topics, such as this article by the president of the organization, José de Paiva Neto, entitled The Millennium of Women. And also this publication brings a summary of the programs and projects carried out by the Legion of Goodwill on behalf of women in 7 different countries for over 61 years. And all these recommendations are being received, very well received by these delegates here represented at this conference. And I'm going to talk now with some of these legionnaires and LGW's representatives that are working here to spread this message and talk about the recommendations of the Legion of Goodwill to the participants of the conference. And Mariana, you had the chance to speak to many countries here today, right? And how was this message received?
The message, all the delegates and authorities that received the Goodwill magazine, Women, were very receptive to the Legion of Goodwill. As soon as we walked in and we showed them the Goodwill Women and they saw the beautiful cover, and we spoke about the article, The Millennium of Women, and all the best practices of the Legion of Goodwill regarding education and so on, they were very impressed by the organization and very happy to know that out there in the world there's an organization working for the betterment of the citizens of the world and also for the empowerment of women. And some of these delegations and authorities that received the Goodwill magazine include the former president of Chile, Michelle Bachelet, and also who is now the executive director of UN Women, also ambassador of Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Egypt, Mexico, Mozambique, Turkey, and so forth. So the Goodwill magazine and the Legion of Goodwill were very welcome to this, the 55th Commission on the Status of Women, and we were able to express and also give advice considering our best practices in the topics that are being debated here at the Commission on the Status of Women.
Okay, Mariana, thank you very much for your participation. And now I'm going to talk to Crosby, which is your first experience here as part of the LGW's team and also participating of this international conference. How is it for you to be here for the first time, and what impressions could you share with us?
Well, it's really exciting to be here for the first time, and I've seen people and met people from countries that had only ever existed on a map for me. Like, I've never seen someone from Mozambique, but now I've talked to someone and I found out we have something in common because we both are working with NGOs, and they were from a similar NGO doing a similar mission as the Legion of Goodwill. And it's just really impressive how many people are here and how excited everyone is to sort of be exchanging ideas, exchanging practices, and getting their message out to people who are important, and also receiving information from other important people.
And Crosby helped in a very important role here at the LGW team, uploading information in real time to our Facebook page, right? Can you make a advertisement here so people can also access and learn from themselves?
Yes, you can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Legion of Goodwill for more updates from CSW 55.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Crosby. And now let's talk to Eliana. Eliana, the theme here is very important because the role of women, especially in equal situation compared to men in the labor work, and this is like being discussed now. Especially using education as a great tool to really achieve this equality. And this matches exactly what the Legion brings in its recommendations, right?
Yes, empowering the women with knowledge and best education on the world that you could provide is therefore empowering for the women in the workplace. So the Legion of Goodwill has its message of, best practices on the education field, and this exchange of information to delegations and people of representatives of different NGOs gives this enrichment of exchange, a real exchange of good information, of best practices, so that could be applied in other countries as well here in the United States. So we understand that educating a woman is educating a whole family, is educating a whole community. And therefore, the Legion of Goodwill, with this message, and President José de Paiva Neto has this, new idea and its recommendations in this Goodwill Women magazine. So it is really important that the Legion of Goodwill every year is present at the 55th session on the Commission of the Women here at the New York UN headquarters, because in this real-time exchange of information that is so enriching for every single person that is, gathered here to debate the big challenges that are being faced in so many different countries and so many different communities around the world. We all have that common, sense of urgency of really bringing the solutions to the table of big corporations, of big business entrepreneurs, and so on. So the women is having this real active figure in the society of bringing the solutions, and it's being empowered every day with more responsibilities and the roles that it's taking on. And this is really exciting to see that people are gathered here to discuss such great achievements and bringing also bigger challenges where there's this equality of the men and women in the workforce, and hearing about some of the events that are being held, parallel to the UN building, such as the church building. You can hear about the different issues that are brought upon, the consciousness of these women that are present here. So, such as, what it is, what should be the role of a gender educator, as a teacher, as a mother to young children and young girls that could potentially be world leaders tomorrow. What should be this this new knowledge that each woman should attain? And these are some of the themes that are being discussed in these rooms, and they are so important because you don't really learn these leadership abilities or skills in from first grade or fourth grade, but this is being taught in the Legion of Goodwill schools. This is being taught, all around the world where the Legion is, located in all its community centers. And this is the empowering of the women and men, as well, because the Legion has this work of working, for both. But more importantly, because there's a disadvantage, or let's say a less, or I would say a more slower progress towards, the women. So now the women and the men are catching up to each other. And this is great because, together they could achieve real solutions to the problems that are really arising and challenging humanity. So it's really exciting to see. And the Legion of Goodwill always has, its message of peace, of education, and knowledge to empower the men and women of society.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Eliana. I would like to say something else, Mariana?
Yes, just to add what Eliana was saying, what the beauty of the Legion of Goodwill's message is that the Legion of Goodwill goes to the core of the issue. For example, the theme of the 55th Commission on Status of Women, it emphasizes on the education, and the Legion of Goodwill, the president of the Legion of Goodwill, he has a saying that is published in his book, It's Urgent to Re-Educate, which is also, the quote is also here in the Goodwill magazine, that says the world stability initiates in the hearts of children, and that's why for so many years the Legion of Goodwill has been practicing the pedagogy of affection and the pedagogy of the ecumenical citizen. Why? Because the pedagogy of affection, the pedagogy of the ecumenical citizen educates with spirituality. So when a lot of people are trying to resolve the issues by just educating the minds and the intellects of youngsters, the Legion of Goodwill is educating the intellect but having the touch of spirituality, so that they're not gonna become just intellectual beings, but they're also gonna become intellectual, productive, and good citizens for humanity.
Very good, connecting brain and heart, right? If you wanna know more information, please visit our website at www.legionofgoodwill.org and get to know a little bit more about the work of the Legion of Goodwill and this 55th Commission on Status of Women, this conference here at the United Nations in New York. And we would like to end this coverage here from the UN, inviting you also to come to visit the Legion of Goodwill here in New York, which is located at 36 West 44th Street, right in between the 5th and 6th Avenues here in New York. And the phone number, so you can call us, is 646-398-7128. Thank you very much. From New York, Danilo Parmegiani.